As the Tournament of Power continues to reach its conclusion, Universe 4 has now revealed themselves from the shadows and targeting the fighters of Universe 7 with an unexpected strategy that seems to throw Universe 7 off balance as they struggle to discover who or what exactly is attacking them as the clock begins to wind down ever so closer to zero, with all of our heroes having to be pushed into a corner as a result. What is going on, Dragon Ball fans? Welcome to my Dragon Ball Super episode 119 review entitled Unavoidable, the fierce stealth attack, leading into next week's exciting episode of Dragon Ball Super episode 120, in which, as a result, based off of the previous Dragon Ball Super spoilers, we understand as to what exactly is going to happen to Universe 4, the involvement of Gohan, the involvement of Universe 3, so if you guys have missed out that spoiler video, be sure to go on ahead and check it out. And with that, we're going to be diving more in depth in my breakdown review following this video, and more or less talking about the events that have occurred in tonight's episode. So come along with me, guys, let's talk about this together as we share our thoughts and opinions down the comment section below. Once again, this is the final month of the year as we've reached the pinnacle and conclusion of Dragon Ball Super for 2017, as this is going to be one of many episodes that are going to be drawn as the final episodes for the year. So I hope you guys sit back and enjoy. And again, if you guys are new to this channel and of course love Dragon Ball, consider punching that subscribe button, guys, and also click that bell icon. That way you guys can be notified whenever a brand new video is posted onto this channel and sent to you directly on your desktop or PC. Hashtag Dragon Ball Squad. Dragon Ball Super episode 119, primarily focused on Universe 7 having to combat Universe 4, and I gotta give credit to Universe 4 for finally having to reveal themselves from being so hidden in the shadows. But if you guys have seen the spoilers, it's ultimately made out to be all for nothing. So either way, we kick off Dragon Ball Super episode 119 exactly where we left off, with our boy Vegeta having to square off against the Universe 3 warrior, in which his name always eludes me, but either way, the policeman from Universe number 3 begins to transform into his ultimate mode, in which we finally get to see how base form Vegeta is basically evenly matched with this guy until he finally transforms further in having 300 times attack power and speed. But unfortunately enough for him, Vegeta finally eliminates him as he stands by the edge. Now here's the thing, a lot of us were curious last week as to if Vegeta was going to get eliminated or wrung out, and early on in the beginning, we see how Vegeta goes from a Super Saiyan back down to his base form, and he gets attacked from behind. Now, he gets pushed off by the edge, and he grabs on. So, of course, anyone out there who assumed that Vegeta was going to get wrung out, you guys were absolutely incorrect, because he managed to grab on and repel himself back in the ring as he was trying to figure out what exactly was going on. And then victim number 2 was Gohan. And what I liked about this was how at first we get to see how these, individuals are attacking Gohan and Vegeta from the back, in which it had such a profound effect to where Gohan almost got wrung out from the tournament if it were not for Piccolo. So Piccolo was actually able to use his arms, stretch it out, grab Gohan, bring him back in the ring, and it almost shocked me so much because Gohan was literally out. There was nothing that Gohan could have done to prevent himself from getting wrung out if it were not for Piccolo. So props to Piccolo on that one. He grabbed Gohan, which I think was a pretty cool save. And yet again, just like Android 18, everyone's getting attacked from behind. And it's interesting because Goku even said, where are we getting attacked from? And he looks behind him, we see Dispo, Toppo, and Jiren, and they're just standing there all casually. Toppo's trying to assess the situation. And what I really enjoyed about this was seeing how Kitella kept laughing at Beerus, and Beerus was trying to figure out, what exactly was going on, who was attacking his warriors, because keep in mind, nobody, and I mean nobody early on, was able to assess the situation as to what was happening. So in the beginning, this episode did a good job in showcasing Vegeta having to finally settle his beef with the Universe 3 policeman, in which of course afterwards the primary focus was trying to figure out who exactly was attacking everyone. So I guess you could say it was kind of like a mystery game at first, and Piccolo did this attack to where he pretty much wiped out his surroundings in trying to locate the warrior, and finally Piccolo shoots an energy blast in detecting where he was, but he's so microscopic. Daemon and his brother are so microscopic, they're so so small, you can barely even figure out where they are. So that's what gives them the advantage, and to me, it reminded me a lot of the Ant-Man movie. If you guys know Ant-Man from Marvel, that's exactly what this reminded me of, in the idea that nobody was able to detect or understand as to what was happening. However, there was a specific sequence to where Piccolo was able to get a clean, and I mean a clean shot at one of the warriors, and he looked like he was invisible. And what I really enjoyed about this was Piccolo was legit fighting an invisible warrior, and it's because of that that Piccolo was the first person to actually detect, you know, who exactly was causing trouble. So what I enjoyed about this was the fact that they finally gave Piccolo some shine, because we understand, again, based on spoilers, Piccolo's not going to be here for long. So it was pretty interesting to see how Piccolo, as a result, caused one of the eliminations for the following fighters. And this fighter ultimately got wrung out, and that's what caused Kitella to be a bit concerned. And I was really hoping that maybe some of Kitella's warriors were going to remain in the ring, but just as quickly as they came, Piccolo managed to actually get one of them out. So we see how Beerus was yelling at Kitella that such dirty tricks won't work on Universe 7, but Kitella thinks that he basically has this in the bag, and the fact that the real show hasn't even started yet. So we get to see how Roshi actually remembers that the other invisible man fought back earlier. So we had some assistance from Krillin, from Roshi, from Tenshinhan, as they were talking to everybody else and trying to more or less piece the puzzles together before Piccolo was able to wring this person out. So as a whole, I did not enjoy the way this fighter was utilized, because once again, what was the point of executing this fighter and having this fighter be in the tournament if so easily he was wrung out by Piccolo? So that was one thing I will say that kind of was lackluster, because the whole time we're expecting to see this high caliber like fighter or fighters come from universe number 4, but instead they had a really cool ability just for them to get wrung out by Piccolo. So afterwards, what I really enjoyed was the fact that we get to see how the resurrected fighters from universe 9 and the other universes were finally brought back into action, and having them be squared up against Piccolo and Gohan. So no, they weren't really, you know, resurrected in terms of seeing them, you know, actually come back in the tournament. However, they were being spawned by this one fighter from universe number 4 who was able to pretty much use this ability to bring back the fighters in the form of an illusion. And to Kitella's credit, we get to see how he's actually able to execute, you know, very good illusions in using Bergamo and Lavender and Basil and various different fighters. Botamo was fighting Goku, but then once again our boy Piccolo manages to ring out Shansta, which was the fighter that was actually creating these illusions to begin with. And we get to see how Kitella is very upset because of this, because of course he wasn't expecting for his fighters to, you know, be wrung out so quickly. But I will say this, for the credit of Piccolo, even though he's not going to be here very long, I did enjoy Piccolo for the most part, because you guys can't deny that Piccolo did a much better job in the Tournament of Power than how he did against, you know, Champa's universe during the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 battle. So we find ourselves once again on the edge, with Piccolo having to be near the edge of the ring as he battles against Daemon. And what I enjoyed about this was Kitella was very, very upset. He was panicking. But Piccolo is such a strategic warrior in the fact that he was actually able to execute and figure out things before they even happened. So we get to see how Piccolo, as he was going to attempt to attack Daemon, he made one crucial error, and that was, I'm guessing that he missed, but in the end, that resulted in Piccolo having to be wrung out. So Piccolo, as I said, is no longer in the tournament, and someone actually pointed out before that all of the team members that are bald from universe number 7 have been wrung out, and I didn't really notice until we saw Piccolo on the bench. And, you know, to Piccolo's credit, he got 2 eliminations in this episode, and it was all down to the other fighters. And Android 17, what I found very menacing about him is towards the end, he seems to be analyzing and kind of like assessing the situation, having to very, very strategically pay attention to his environment. And then he got hit from behind, and if it were not for Goku, I would have to say 17 would have been gone, because Goku managed to catch him, which I really do appreciate, because this entire time, Android 17, Android 18, they were always saving Goku's butt, and now we get to see how Goku is the one that saved 17's butt, so that was pretty cool to see. And towards the end, what I really enjoyed was Goku. You see Goku unleashing energy blasts, he's trying to hit something, and something seems to be hitting him back, but he doesn't seem to, understand as to where it is. So while Goku is basically swinging at nothing, we see how 17 gets on top of like these rocks, and 17 explains that the only reason why they can't attack Daemon is because he's a bug. He's way too small to hit. And what's interesting is how 17 is just standing on top of this cliff, and Daemon is hitting 17 legit, everywhere, and he's not even getting phased by this, which is why I love 17 so much, and I really hope that he remains towards like the finale. Was, basically trying to figure out where Daemon was. He used this energy blast to expose Daemon, and we finally get to see who he actually is, which is very interesting because once again, he's such a small organism. He's a tiny little microscopic organism. He's a little man. And once he was exposed, Kitella was screaming at Daemon, and they relied too much on the hopes of catching the Universe 7 warriors off guard because they didn't really know as to what they were up against. But Goku, we get to see how he's trying to, reach on down and grab Daemon and shooting at him. And, to Daemon's props, he's actually pretty quick because he was avoiding a lot of the ki blast having to be sent his way, and Goku and 17 were really working together to take this guy down, because despite Goku having to, just use a barrage of attacks and using an energy blast, and 17 also having to do the same thing, they weren't actually able to hit him. But we get to see that how by the very end, 17 captures Daemon in a little tiny force field, and then he finally throws him out of bounds. So again, the episode as a whole was very interesting in the idea that they were trying to figure out, exactly where the Universe 4 fighters were together collectively as a team. And 17, the way he grabbed Daemon in this little energy bubble and kicked him out, it was really interesting. But the one thing I will say is, what the heck was the point of introducing these fighters if everybody was going to get erased to begin with? So by the very end, once again, Universe 4 is now eliminated. Not that we all cared for it, because at the very end, it's like, who really cared for Universe number 4? I mean, at first, they kind of presented this level of intimidation because you didn't really know as to what you would expect from them. And, by the very end, they proved to be complete fodder. And nobody out there can argue that, despite the last 3 warriors having to, have really interesting abilities and attacks. By the very end, Zeno raised his hand, and Kitella was gone. Kitella made like this really funky looking face before he was actually washed away. And once he was gone, that was the end of that one. So by the very end, all that's left is Universe 3, Universe 7, and Universe 11. And again, the ominous music, everyone's looking out in the distance. It was really interestingly portrayed. And again, nobody from Universe number 7, aside from Piccolo, really had that much of a difficult time, aside from probably Goku, who was trying to grab them. But at the very end, by the very end, we get to see how Pepperoni stands tall. The Universe 3 warriors are showcased, and by the very end, we're gonna have our last 3 universes throw down before the end of the tournament. But in the end, I would like to know what you guys have to say down in the comment section below. Did you guys agree or disagree with the way Universe 4 came at Universe 7? What are your overall thoughts based off of the spoilers that we know and the end result of Universe 4 having to go into Universe 3? What are your overall thoughts as to what you guys have witnessed here tonight? Did you guys agree or disagree with the storyboard writing, with the way everything was handled, the animation? Post your comments down below, guys, and again, make sure you guys tune back in for the breakdown review, as we are going to go more in depth in covering both the good and the bad for this episode, so make sure you guys stick on by for that. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to punch that subscribe button, guys. Enable all notifications by clicking that bell icon. If you guys enjoyed, slap a like down below. Tune back in for more. Again, we have approximately 2 more episodes until Dragon Ball is finished for 2017. There is no episode going into the new year, so if you guys are wondering if Dragon Ball Super is going to be airing on December 30th/31st, it will not. However, we will come back on January 7th, so post your comments down below, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section. Take it easy, everybody. Have a great day. Peace.